Let's take a look at the first item in our navigation list, Documents. And we're going to do this for our controller board hardware item. Before I jump into what you're going to see within the tool, let's one more time take a quick look at a slide to help us understand how this works. So this is the document flow in PACT. The very first thing, kind of before the actual document generation, the first thing you care about is setting up the document templates. Remember, we provide a full set of DO-254 and DO-178C templates that can be used within the PACT environment. This saves hundreds of hours of setting up that documentation on your own, maybe even thousands of hours. Documentation is a huge piece of these projects, and we provide a very full-featured template set. So the administrator for the organization takes those generic templates that we provide and moves them into an organizational area where they can be tuned, with the organization's logo and maybe some certain features of the documentation that the organization would like to customize. Those templates then are used when a hardware or software item is created. That full set of templates affiliated with the type of item, whether it's DO-254 or 178, and the design assurance level of the item, those two aspects of an item define which documents are going to be created from the template set. So all of that is done automatically when the item is created. So when you open your item, you're going to see a full list of template documents. So the very first time you see them, they will be just the templates. So what you'll do then is you'll download those templates, pull them outside of your environment, edit them with your project's content, and then you read it back into the tool. And this is sort of the creation of the first version of your own item document. At some point, you will have the editing completed, and you'll have a version that you feel is ready for review. You will upload that version into the tool, baseline it, and then hold a peer review on that document. The peer reviews we'll discuss in a future demo, but they basically go through a series of checklist items that determine if the document is acceptable. So generally not every checklist item will pass on the first try. So if there's any items that don't pass during the review, you have to identify the issues, create action items or document comments, edit the document to fix those outside of the environment, read it back in, and continue through the review process until the review is fully approved, at which point it's recommended now that you release that document. And releasing basically means it's approved and it's controlled through the proper control categories depending on what type of document it is and the DAL of the hardware or software item. So this is the process of working through the documentation for each document, how PACT supports and provides structure around that process. So now let's take an actual look at how this works. Let's click on Documents, and you guessed it, we are now in a documents list where each document in the list will be on its own row, and the pertinent information about the documents are in these column headings: document ID, the name of the document, the control category of the document, the revision, a draft version, and revision date. So PACT helps, especially in the area of documentation, with version control. So this is all tightly controlled. It's described thoroughly in the manual. I won't go into the details here, but the configuration management of documents is a key feature of PACT. You also have a document comment capability that's generally tied to the review, so you can see if there's documents, document comments here. We also have action buttons. We can show the document themselves, aspects of the document. You can delete them in some cases. Once they've been released, delete is disabled. You can upload a new version, and you can download a version. In fact, you can download by clicking this button or just clicking here on the name. So let's take a quick look at this PHAC, the Plan for Hardware Aspects of Certification. We're going to click on that. what happens is the document gets downloaded, and you can just easily open it. Now the document that we're going to see was taken from the PACT templates. So this is going to give you a quick look at what a PHAC template provided by the tool will look like. So here we have our PHAC for our Acme Company Avionics passenger counter. Just give you a quick look. We've got a revisions tracking page, and here we have our table of contents. So you can kind of quickly see what is part of the templates that we provide. So basically introduction, system overview, hardware overview, certification considerations, hardware design life cycle details. That's where most of the information is in the PHAC. And then the hardware design life cycle data, additional considerations, of which there are many, all of which have to be documented, alternative methods, certification schedule, and there you have it. So that's the content of the PHAC template that we provide with PACT. As you can see, it's quite thorough. So back to our documents list. If we wanted to create a new document, we could do so. Let's just take a quick look at what that might look like. By now this should be somewhat familiar. You provide some sort of ID, which is usually a shortcut of the name. We pick the type of document. We provide a list that typically are associated with hardware and software items. In this case, it's a hardware item, so only the hardware types of documents will be listed. You also always can create an other type as well. You can select the control category, although these are also by default linked to the type of document. So there's a bunch of intelligence built into the tool. And you choose your starting point file. Somewhere on your system you've got a Word doc of this new document you're trying to add. Documents and reviews are linked. I mentioned that already. Documents are reviewed through peer review. So if a peer review is happening, it will be listed here. And in fact, I'll show you that in a minute. Let's go back. Instead of creating a new document, let me go back and click on our PHAC, which is right here. Let's say we want to upload a new version. It's kind of like, we call it uploading, but it's basically the same thing as kind of like the edit screens we've seen before. So in this case, we've got our document ID 800-PHAC01, the name, plan for hardware aspects of certification. The type is PHAC. The control category is set based on the type of document and the DAL. And what we have, now I can show you this. This document has actually been reviewed with a review called the Review of PHAC Draft. The status of that review is pass, and we're now at version 1.1, revision A, and the date that it was revised to this level. So all of this is captured and controlled in the tool for the PHAC. So this is our list of documents for this hardware item. Let's see here. What else should I show you about this? Oh, an interesting feature that we have, which is kind of nice. So at the end of a project, or basically any time, maybe in preparation for a review, you can create a package quickly of whatever documents are pertinent. So you could say package certification documents. Let's assume this is maybe at the end of a review, and you want to, at the end of a project, and you want to capture everything. You just select which documents. In this case, I'm selecting all that you would like to capture, and then say create certification package. Very quickly, the tool creates these in a zip file, and in this case, these are the documents that we currently have associated with this controller board hardware item. So it's just another feature that just helps in terms of usability and preparation for your programs. So that is all I would like to say about documents. Stay tuned. The next section we're going to look at would be requirements.